G'day, legends. Welcome to the Thursday Sesh by Celtic Down Under. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me tonight is Willie. How are you, Willie?
I'm doing pretty well, Jared. It's good to get Celtic back on the go. A nice, comfortable victory, 5-0 win over Bucky Thistle. So we're back up and running again.
It's good to have the boys back there. You were on Monday, so I'll give you the next 30 seconds, a minute, just to give you a quick overview on anything you want to talk about that, and then we can crack on to the rest of the pod.
Yeah, there's not much to say about the game. It was a very one-sided affair. It was good to sort of blow the cobwebs away and get back to winning ways. So hopefully they'll continue.
Happy days. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Enjoying having the boys back. It was an interesting one. Enjoyed the game a lot more than I am today. It's bloody, middle of summer down here, and I'm wearing a hoodie because it's freezing. So it's just all over the joint at the moment. So, if you like these hoodies, I'll move that out the way. If you like the Celtic Down Under hoodies, go to our website on the screen, celticdownunder.com. Got the shop there. You can get the hoodies in black, green, grey, and white, and then the t-shirts in the same colours as well, available there, and drink bottles. So there you go. The plug's out of the way. We'll crack on with the main chat tonight, Willie. So there's been a few things going on this week to discuss. We've got the Matt O'Reilly transfer rumours. We've got the Liel Abada being linked with clubs. We've got a few other topics to discuss. So we'll chat. If we're done in 20 minutes, great. If we're done in an hour, great. We'll just dig into this and go from there. So we'll start off with the Matt O'Reilly transfer rumours. So currently the rumours are that it's a loan offer from Atletico Madrid with an obligation to buy. The figures bandying around at the moment are there's going to be a loan fee if this was to go ahead, and then the move goes permanent, the fee gets up to about 20 million, which is very low in my opinion. So we'll discuss what the figures will be there. But I want to start off, Willie, and just ask you, do you think Matt O'Reilly would be keen on the move if it was to eventuate?
I don't know. I think he probably would be keen on a move to Atletico Madrid. I mean, there's not many players out there who wouldn't be keen on a move to Atletico Madrid, but not at this point in the season. I think he's happy enough to stay at Celtic. He's just signed a new deal, so he's obviously happy at the club. Is his value going to go down between now and August, the start of next season? Definitely not. So I don't think it would be a good move for him, Mike. At this moment, I think he'd be better staying where he is.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing for me with this rumored move is that anytime you talk about a player wanting to make a big move, it's kind of similar to like Ange come the end of the season where, he's going from Celtic to a traditional one of the big six clubs down the EPL, going to Tottenham. You don't normally get that. You'd think, and if you're a player at Celtic going down the EPL, you'd think you'd get that move. You'd go down like a Southampton or a West Ham or something and then move on. So there's got to be an interim move like Virgil did and a bunch of others. In this situation, O'Reilly would be going straight from Celtic to Atletico Madrid. If that is something that he's keen on, the thing that would have helped him is, okay, he's a Danish international, but he also played against these guys in the Champions League this season, so they got to see him up close and personal at that level. So I think it's one of them ones where it's a move, and it was a bit of a long-winded way to get back to this point here, but it's a move there that if O'Reilly wanted to go there, it's one of the big three clubs in La Liga down in Spain. It's one of those clubs where to go straight from Celtic to Atletico Madrid, there's no interim move here. So if you were the player and you're in this situation, would you be wanting to risk staying for the next 6 months with us and then they bring someone else in, then that position's gone, and then waiting for your next offer at a similar level? Because will you get another offer at that same level? So I'm just thinking, I'm not saying we have to sell Matt O'Reilly. Okay, I'm just putting that on the record right now. What I'm saying is this is what I think the questions he would be asking himself or would have to ask himself. If I was in his shoes, this is what I'd be asking. Now, I don't want him to leave. I hope he doesn't leave, but I think he'd be keen on the move, especially to a club like Atletico Madrid. If it was someone like Getafe or something like that, one of the mid to lower level Spanish clubs, would he want to go? Who knows? But yeah, I think Atletico Madrid in particular, yeah, you'd think he would be keen on the move.
Yeah, he'd definitely be keen on the move, but I just don't think it'd be the right move for him at this stage. I think staying with Celtic to the end of the season, walk away with another league winners medal, then yeah, I just don't think it'll be the right time for him. He's just signed a new deal not long ago, so I don't know. Maybe wishful thinking on my own half. You know, what I mean, maybe kind of hoping he'll stay with us, but I just don't think it'd be a good move for him at this moment in time. I just think he'd be better off, like I say, just staying at Celtic till the end of the season and then see what his options are, because there's not long of the window left. Like some of the big English teams might be sort of keeping a close eye on the situation, and now they see a team the size of Atletico Madrid coming in, they might just turn around and say, well, hang on a second here, like, if a club the size of Atletico Madrid are interested in this player, maybe we should be taking a bit of a notice in this, bigger interest in this too. So it might be worthwhile, because he'll get a better move. He'll probably get a bigger move, maybe, if it could come off in the summer. Maybe one of the English top 6 English teams. He maybe want aspirations to play in the EPL rather than the La Liga, like so.
I look at it, Willie, with what you're saying, and I go, I'm the complete opposite in terms of he might get a bigger move. I think Atletico Madrid is a hell of a lot of a bigger move than, a lot of clubs down in the EPL. Unless you go into a Man City, a Liverpool, or an Arsenal, I don't really see how Chelsea, Man United's current situation, going to Tottenham. Well, we've seen the way he was talking about when Ange moved on. That's not going to happen. I can't really see how a move to that level of club is better than going to a club that you played against in the Champions League this year in Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid is a bigger move.
Hey, don't get me wrong, Atletico Madrid's a massive club, and they're a global name. It's just, I don't know. I'm probably projecting, like I say, I'm probably projecting my own hopes onto this, that he'll stay with us. But if he wants to move, then all he needs to do is go to Brendan Rodgers and say, "Look, I think it's time we had a talk about if I can take this move or not." But I'm fingers crossed he won't.
Yep, exactly. So I'll bring up some comments. Andrew Galea he'd love La Liga. Jared's saying it'd be silly not to, but go next season. And then he's also saying use his fee to buy Jota. That's an interesting one. We'll talk about that topic on replacements and that in a couple of minutes. Andrew Galea, everyone's chasing the Champions League and that we have quality in the midfield to cover his loss. And then Andrew's also saying Awada and Home can play 6 and push Kelmac forward. Hatate will be back. So there is coverage there. And the reason I brought up those comments about, that we can push people forward, we've got coverage, bringing Jota, is the thing I said in our group chat this morning, Willie, is I don't want it to turn out where, okay, O'Reilly leaves and then the club turns and goes, oh, and his replacement is Bernardo on a permanent. Like, I want us to make Bernardo's deal permanent anyway, but I don't want, but then if Bernardo was to be the permanent signing to replace him, then you'd have to replace Bernardo.
Yeah.
So it's which might actually be easier long term to, go find another player on loan for a year like that same pathway again. So it's it'll be a bit of an interesting one to see how it all pans out. But I'm going to ask you here, Willie, how much would you be wanting as the agreed future fee if the loan was to happen? So say you went on loan and we got £4 or £5 million as a loan fee for the rest of the season. And then, as I said earlier, the talk is that it'd be up to 20 million. How much would you be wanting as the agreed future fee if it was to happen?
Anything less than 30 million should be thrown out straight away. Like, Matt O'Reilly should not be made for sale for anything less than 30 million, and that's my honest opinion. If they want to pay 6 million for the loan and then 24 million in the close season, that's still, I don't know, 30 million should be the mark. We should be aiming higher than that 25 million barrier that they seem to have set at this present moment in time. So for me, anything over 30 million, and we could maybe talk business. If they want to send Griezmann on loan to us for the rest of the season as a replacement, then I'd be quite happy to take that too.
I agree with you, Willie, on that. Bring Griezmann in. I don't know. I don't know about that. Is he good enough? Is he better than Kyogo? That's the real question. But put that to the side for a second. Yeah, if we were to get it's at 25 million. We have these caps. We've got these things where it's like, oh, we'll struggle to sell anyone over 20 million. And then Dembele goes for about 20, right? Then the next one is, all right, let's get someone out for 25, which was Tierney. And then he goes. And then we've basically leveled off again. So we've got to get through that next barrier because there's players being sold down in England between clubs for 30, 40 million who aren't the same level of player as O'Reilly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you've got players coming from Holland, going down to Spain or whatever for 30, 40 million, and no one bats an eye. So the fact of the matter is O'Reilly's at that level. The market is at that level. We should be basically saying to these people, you want him. He's got a lot of time on his contract. This is what we expect. If you want him, and that's for the permanent transfer. If you want him for the loan, there's a loan fee for the current 6 months, the rest of this season, and then his fee is permanent for next year. And this is what the amount is. We want to be through the 30 million. We want to push that on.
Yeah.
Because if we don't push it on, we're just going to stagnate again.
Listen, both Celtic and Matt O'Reilly are in a strong position here. He's got a good contract. He's got a lengthy contract, and it's something that we have as a good bargaining chip. When any club wants to come in looking to buy him, we can just turn and say, well, we're not in any position that we need to sell him right now. We can just keep a hold of him. And he can also say, I'm on a good deal at Celtic. You're going to have to try and give me something seriously good money to tempt me away from this. So both player and club are in a strong position here. So any club that's wanting to come in and buy him need to be ready to pay good money to him and us.
100%, Willie. So Ian McIntosh has made a good point in the comments here, saying Bernardo is a unit but showed the dancing feet and finesse of Jota with his goal. As a midfielder, it seems there is nothing he can't do. I agree with you on that. And as I said, Bernardo could be his long-term replacement if the move did happen. But then I'd want to be bringing someone else in for that production line as I talk about. You want to have the guy, you sell a player, you've got his replacement ready to go. Jared's saying, doesn't matter if we sell someone for 10 million or 70 million, it won't be invested back into players. Fair point. And then we'll talk about that a little bit later again on that point. Mahesh is saying Atletico's mids are fairly average. Atletico's right side mids like Llorente and Barrios are well within reach of O'Reilly. That's why I was saying it's probably a move that he could see that he could potentially get games there. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one there. I'll save a couple of comments for a bit later on the topic here. But, yeah, well, my next question for you, Willie, is you said Celtic and Matt O'Reilly and Celtic are in a strong position. We've spoken about it from the O'Reilly point of view, like if you're in his spot, what you want to do. But let's talk about it from the Celtic point of view. Why shouldn't Celtic approve this move? Okay, that is the first question, and then I've got 2 follow-up questions off the back of that.
Celtic should not be entertaining this move because we have a championship to win, and he is pivotal to that. Now, a lot of people are saying that we have enough players in midfield to carry on without him. I think we would be sacrificing a lot of creativity, and something that we lack depth in our squad is that creative midfield players. So losing O'Reilly would be very, very detrimental. And if I was part of the Celtic board, I would be looking at it saying, right, what are the pros and cons of this deal? The pros, we're going to get 30 million. The cons, we're jeopardising 60 million next season for the Champions League. So for me, the cons outweigh the pros. So as a board, if I was on the Celtic board, I would be saying that I'm not interested in selling Matt O'Reilly until the summer.
Yep.
I would be turning my phone off, putting it on silent, throwing it in the harbour, whatever, just getting rid of it, and then getting a new one on the 1st of February. And sorry about that. I was a bit out of reach there.
Yeah, I'll do not disturb plane mode on your phone so no one can get a hold of you. Yep, good fun. For me, why Celtic shouldn't approve this move? I agree with what you're saying, Willie. It's just now's not the time. And my next follow-up questions to you was, would the loan fee with an obligation to buy justify the risk losing Matt that we would justify the risk of us losing Matt O'Reilly? And what impact would that have on us winning the league and then qualifying for the Champions League? So by putting all that together, what I'm saying is if we were to look at the risk versus reward, right, and you have Matt O'Reilly and £30 million as a potential funds coming into the club in the summer. We're not going to get that funds now. So you got 30 million potential there, but you sell him, you don't have the rest of the season, and you run the risk of, us not winning the league. But then you keep him, you potentially could have a slightly unhappy player, but we still have him out there playing, doing what he's doing on the pitch. And then we qualify, we win the league, we qualify for the expanded Champions League, where you're looking at between 40 and 60 million pound for the season paid to you on that front. And then you could potentially sell O'Reilly in the summer and get that 30 million anyway that we're looking at and we're talking about. So you got 90 million coming in. It's the risk versus the reward for me. I'm like, why would you risk that Champions League windfall, winning the league and getting that Champions League windfall, that if Rangers won the league, that would pay off all their debts and get them out of trouble, when we could basically put even more distance between us and do that. Now, the other question I've got for later on is about the board and replacing him. So if we've got copious amounts of money coming in, we've already got that. So we'll talk about the actual board and trusting them to replace and all that a little later. But I just want to get your thoughts, Willie. What's the risk and reward to you?
It's just the exact same as you. The risk and reward is you're gonna lose out on the £60 million bounty and give your biggest rivals the financial shot in the arm that they're desperately looking for at this moment in time. So it's that swing. It's that 90 million swing, isn't it? You know what I mean? You could sell him, get the 30 million, win the league still, and get the 60 million and have 90 million in the bank, or you could just sell him for 30 million and then lose the league and lose out on 60 million, and that would leave you an offset of like 30 million. So it's a no-brainer, like, you know what I mean? It's just, do not sell him, right? Oh, there's Atletico on the phone again. Sorry, missed call. Not answering it. Just leave us alone. You're not getting him.
Let's look at it this way, Willie. If we had 60 million guaranteed coming in, we've currently got about 70 million in the bank. Yeah. Then you get 30 for Matt O'Reilly coming in if you sell him in the summer. There's 100. Then you get another 50. Let's go the average, go in the middle. 50 million for the Champions League. There's 150 million.
Mm-hmm.
We could easily afford to do Barrowfield redevelopment, the hotel, do up the Celtic way to heat it so people don't, injure themselves slipping on ice, and still spend a bunch of money on the club, on players and all that sort of stuff. And next thing you know, we've got revenue streams coming in from outside with that investment. We've got a better training and facility for our youth and our first team and our women's to have a place to play at. And then we also have our first team getting better with the reinvestment and getting those quality players Brendan's been talking about. It's a win-win-win if we did it that way. But I don't see this very often. But there was a comment up here just before. There you go. Jared saying the board isn't as smart as you. No one's ever called me smart, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it just makes too much sense. If you look at it purely from, I spent all day today looking at P&L sheets and stuff at work because I've got this whole financial brain thing happening at the moment, which I don't normally have. But yeah, just go on, Willie, go on.
Nah, like I say, I think it's too much risk to sell him at this moment in time. The financial rewards are great, but we're already cash rich as it is. So I just don't see the point in selling him. We're going to winning the league is the priority this season. But if the board are going to start selling their best players, what's to stop them turning around and saying, "Oh well, we've just been offered 16 million for Cameron Carter-Vickers. We're going to take that as well." Just deal with it, Brendan. You know what I mean? We're just going to start selling all these players. The manager needs to have trust that the board are going to do what's best for him as well. You know what I mean? He's obviously sounded out he wants 3 or 4 new players coming in. He's got 1 so far, and there's no sign of anyone else arriving. So how's it going to look to him if they turn around and just sell his top player from under his nose without giving him an ideal replacement in an adequate sort of time frame? So
he'll walk again. It's that simple.
He would. I mean, Bernardo's a good player and he's coming at it. But to be a direct replacement for O'Reilly, no, you'd be looking for another one coming in. And 7 days to try and find a replacement for Matt O'Reilly, it's not going to happen. Not with Mark Lowell doing the scouting, so definitely not.
I was just about to say that, Willie. Do you trust Mark Lawwell when they base the whole recruitment and scouting department have had from the close of the last window through to the start of 1st of January to a forward plan for this window? And we didn't sign anyone till more than halfway through the month. And now we've got it to this point where it's like it's all last minute. I know the market's pretty quiet in general, but yeah, I don't think Mark Lawwell would have his list and go, okay, Matt O'Reilly at the top. If he moves on, it's this player, this player, this player, and this player, and have 3 or 4 guys ready, scouted, ready to contact and look for. Do the same for Carter Vickers. Do the same for Abada. Have a list ready to go for every player. I don't think he's that organised, which is how it should be.
Definitely not. I mean, I think Arns used to rattle sabres to get his players in. They were always signed before the window opened. So the 1st of January came and the players arrived. You know what I mean? Okay, you can make the argument it was a close season in Japan and they were looking for clubs anyway, but they were scouted, they were ready, contact was made, everything, all the I's and T's were dotted and crossed and the contracts were signed. So that when January the 1st happened and the window opened, that was it. They were there. They were our players. Right now, we're just dragging our feet over. I mean, how long ago was Kuhn? How long ago was he identified? And it's taken, 2 or 3 weeks into the window before his signature got pushed over the line. It just reeks of Lawellism, this transfer window at the moment, and it's concerning.
Yep, sure does. So I'll bring up some comments here. Pork Chop Express is saying if they're really interested in Matt O'Reilly, they'll come back in the summer. Then we've got here Maestro saying clubs look at Scotland, the value ain't as high. They'll definitely keep him till the summer. Clubs are alerted. Pat Warren is saying O'Reilly must stay as regards the transfer. The market is pretty quiet in most leagues. Michael Ross is saying potentially we could lose quite a few of our big stars this summer. That's stock standard. You tend to have a 2-3 year shelf life at most clubs. What do we got here? Andrew's saying we're going to have to keep an eye on our Scottish quota for next season. I think we'll be promoting guys from our youth team, if that makes sense. Like we're starting to see guys on the bench a bit more. So that's probably the easiest way. Michael Ross is saying the recruitment team needs replaced. Anne's worked with Mark Lawwell. Rogers might be leaving him to it. Yeah, who knows? Plunge McNugget. Welcome back to the channel. We got Matt's replacement already in Bernardo, who will go in the summer. Yeah, that's what we think it'll be. And RL77, get the Lawwells to you know what. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions on this topic here, Willie. So what would the impact of O'Reilly leaving the club for Atletico Madrid look like for Celtic if it went ahead? So currently he's scored 10 goals and has 12 assists for the team. And would you trust the club to adequately replace Matt O'Reilly with a similar level of play if he moved on?
I absolutely would not trust the club to replace Matt O'Reilly adequately. Like you say, they would end up taking the 30 million and shelling out the 6 million, whatever it is, to get Bernardo in and say, there's your replacement. A player who we already have in the door, and it's not an actual replacement. It's just promoting one player further up the pecking order. And Matt O'Reilly leaving Celtic, he is our best player. He's our standout player. I think he's a top scorer in the league. 10 goals, 12 assists, as you say, 21 starts. He's just all over it this season. Everything he touched turns to gold at the moment. And to sell a player like that, it's shooting yourself in the foot, like big time.
I muted myself. Happy days. Yeah, just looking at some of the comments here, like Pork Chop Express is saying, I prefer Bernardo as O'Reilly's partner, not replacement, but unfortunately Plunger's right, where Plunger was saying that, Bernardo would be the replacement. RL77, the club has still got Jota's money sitting in the bank. Yeah, I'm just looking at this here. So Mahesh is not convinced about Bernardo as an attacking threat. Hatade on another level in terms of pass progression and movement. So maybe we'll be having Bernardo playing in the 8, and you'll be having Atade playing in the 10 potentially. I think Michael Ross has got the right idea. A 20-year-old Korean project will replace O'Reilly. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Bernardo will sign, and he'll be permanent. He'll be the replacement, as the board's saying, and then you'll end up with some young Korean kid coming in to be the backup.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say about it is, like, I just think we're going to. I've said it earlier. I just think if you sell O'Reilly, you're taking away our most creative player, and I don't think there is enough in the reserves, creative-wise, from midfielders. We've got Thiago Odin home. We've got Bernardo, who plays as a number 8, home as a 6. Kalmak prefers to play in a 6. He can push forward a little bit, but he's more comfortable in that 6 role. You've got Hatate, who is an actual number 10, but other than that, there's no real young players coming through who have that creative spark in the middle of the pitch. So to sell O'Reilly and not replace him would be criminal. Like.
Yeah, it'd be like this. Michael Ross is saying, like, this is what the model is. You sell Jota for 25, you buy a 10 million replacement. Should be the way we operate. Exactly. Like, we're linked in the off season. Who was that guy in
Fabian
Fabian
Ryder?
Yeah, Fabian Ryder, yeah. That would have been the perfect situation. You sell Jota for 25, you buy Ryder for what, 12, and then you still look to bring in someone else like your Bernardo on loan for a year with the option to buy. So then you've got the direct replacement in, you've got, you know, the next guy on the production line, and that's the way we should be looking at doing it. That's the way all the clubs at a similar level to us do things. That's how a club like Copenhagen works like that as well, and all that sort of levels, and it just makes more sense. But if you're going to do that, though, Jared's got a good point here, which is who recruits the recruitment team. Like, if you're going to be spending that type of money, I think the club's got the yips a little bit because of the whole 5 million for Barkas, 5 million for a Yeti. So they spent big money back then, and it didn't work. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Michael, that's how Red Bull Club works. Yep, that's how a lot of clubs that next tier down work that aren't in the big 5 leagues. So I think the last one, and this is where I want to get a few comments from you guys and tuning in as well. What would the fan reaction be if Matt O'Reilly moved and Celtic come out of this transfer window weaker than we went into it? Because me looking at that, I said in our group chat, if that happened, the board will have to get the barricades out, the fences out, and, you know, it'll kick off again. I'm not advocating for that, but I can just see it just being the spark that lights the fire again. What are your thoughts, Willie?
Yeah, definitely. The board are not in a good position with the fans at present, as it is. Like, just to do something like that and to make us weaker by the end of this transfer window would really probably tip them over the edge. We've already seen protests in the stadium after the defeat to Hearts. So if the board had any sense, they would just take a step back and say, do you know what? Let's just leave it as it is for the time being. And then we'll look at selling them in the summer, because if we do it now, then we're going to put ourselves in a very precarious position. And to just circle back to Gerard's point, who recruits the recruitment team? Their parents.
Yeah, we got some comments on that. Who recruited the recruitment team? His dad. And then Gerard's response, only because he's effing his mum. Paid well and son of the problem, get him out. And then we all know what and who is the problem, 100%. So I'm just looking at that going, if we go through all those topics that we just discussed for Matt O'Reilly, then we'll just flow that straight into another rumour that's been kicking around since the last pod, which was that Liel Abada is wanted on loan by Watford, Southampton and West Brom. There's also rumours of clubs in Germany and Italy being interested. To me, my view on this is, yeah, it's not going to happen. Like, he's been out injured all season. He's just returned. I don't want Abada leaving on loan. I want him to stay and play for us, because ideally, I think it's hard to find a striker at the moment, as some of the people in the comments are saying. There's I go for Miovski in the window, but a lot. Michael Ross is saying I don't see Aberdeen selling Miovski this window, so you're not going to be able to get that sort of level of striker. So I actually reckon we're going to have Kuhn and Abada playing on the right. We'll have Maeda playing on the left along with Palmer, and then you're going to have Maeda can step in and play some striker as well, backing up Kyogo along with O, and with Rocco Vada potentially playing a bit more too. So I don't think we'll get another striker. I think we'll be lucky to bring in anyone without selling anyone. So if we want a left back, we're going to have to get rid of what's his name, Bernabé first. If we're going on centre back, we got to get rid of a centre back. That's how I think it's all going to work at the moment. So I think it's more the rest of this window is going to be about getting people out, but it's about getting the right people out, like McCarthy, like Siegrist, like the guys who are on good wages that don't contribute anything at all. Those are the guys I think the movement will see. And then if we do sell someone like a O'Reilly, then we might see some movement of us buying someone, but I don't really see it happening, whether it's Abada or whether it's O'Reilly or whatever. But Willie, what's your thoughts on the Abada rumours?
Yeah, it's another move that wouldn't make sense to me. Roger says he expects big things of him post-break, so it would signify to me he's firmly in the manager's plans. Like, it's another position I think we lack depth of quality in. We have plenty of depth overall, but we don't really have the quality in there. As you say, on the right, you'll probably have Kuhn and Abada playing for that position. On the left, it'll be Maeda and Palmer. But if Kyogo gets injured, Liel Abada is another player. I would probably rather Liel Abada played up front than Maeda, because Liel Abada can actually score goals and is pretty good at shooting. Like, so but the only way I can see this move happening is if the player's trying to force the issue, and the only way I can see the player forcing this issue is if Alan Hazan, the Israeli national manager, has told him that he won't be featuring for the national team while he's playing at Celtic. So, and if that's the case, and that's an issue Celtic need to take up with FIFA, because they're quick enough to punish us for putting political messages out there. So if the Israeli FA are trying to make political messages out of our players playing for Celtic, then surely that's something that we should be speaking to them about. Right? But no, I wouldn't be interested in loaning out Abada in any way, shape, or form either. Like, so no, definite no from me on that one too.
Plunge McNugget is saying Abada or Matt leaving alone is ludicrous. Maestro95 saying, when was the last time Celtic built from a point of strength? I can't really remember that in my lifetime following the club. Jared saying, can we send our scouts to Portugal? I think we need to set up a permanent shop there or a house for them to base themselves out of. Andrew Goulet saying, I think Abada wants out. We'll have to watch his space, I suppose. And then RL77, Abada being unhappy because he's straight up the tunnel at full time is nonsense. He'd be crucified back home, no pun intended, if he was pictured applauding the Celtic fans with Palestinian flags. And who's the snitch who's got a nice bit of breaking news, everyone? The Edinburgh Zoo has offered 2 camels and a Toblerone for McCarthy.
I do. Listen, I'm on a diet. I don't want the Toblerones. I don't want camels either, but they can have McCarthy if they want them. Man.
I'll have the Toblerone, Willie. There you go. I'll have that. Go from there. But no, we'll get on to the next one. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was Broony. The first player whose name and number I ever had on the back of a shirt in my life. Broony. Absolutely love him. Been appointed manager of Air United. So he's vowed in his opening press conference to awake a sleeping giant at his new club. He's got an upcoming game against the Huns in the Scottish Cup. So that'll be a good one for him to strut back. I think it's at Ibrox. So he gets to strut back in there and, do his thing. The question is, Willie, will Broony, for that game, will he shave his head before he walks into Ibrox?
I'd love that.
He looks so odd with hair.
He does, actually. Yeah, he's just unrecognisable with hair. Like, but if he shaved his head for getting into Ibrox and did the Broony, say they scored the first goal, just turn around and give the crowd the Broony, that would be just epic. Like, good luck to him. It's a good opportunity there at Ayr United to further his career. They seem to have a little bit of ambition there at this club at present. They're building a new stand. they got a decent squad. Their last manager, it didn't quite work out for him, but they were competing towards the tail end of last season. I think they were in the playoffs, so they'll be trying to emulate that again this season. Like, it's a very, very cutthroat league. Any team can beat any team in there, so it's a good level for him to further his development. Also, Aidan McGeady, I think, is technical director there, so there's already a Celtic connection there for him to work with.
Was Aidan McGeady at Ayr United? Okay, I thought he was at just Ayr.
It's Ayr United. There's two teams. There's two teams in Ayr. There's Ayr United and Kilmarnock. They're both from Ayrshire. Yeah.
There you go. So that's the connection as well. No, that'll be good for him. The only thing I can think that would make that a bit of a looser setup would be if they signed Lee Griffiths, got him in. Got him back in playing Scottish football there. If you've got McGeady up in a box somewhere, you've got Broony on the sideline, you got Lee Griffiths there to be like the old Celtic loose units club.
That would be a good time to phone Scott Brown and just say that we've got a couple of young players here. They're too good to be playing in this fifth tier, the Lowland League, but they're not good enough to play at our level yet. We don't think so. Can we put them out to you on loan? See if he'll take them. Mitchell Frame's one. He's not getting a sniff at the first team here. We could maybe send him out there if they really wanted. They could send Yang down the division, set him playing some attacking football out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Yang down there, but I'd what you're saying there about playing guys like Mitchell Frame would work, or Daniel Kelly or whatever, you could put him there. The other one I was thinking of is Michael Ross has touched on it. Give him McCarthy.
Yeah,
you can take him.
Jane Murray, someone like that as well.
Murray, just give him some guys that we've recall. What's his name? What's the goalkeeper over in
Olawayemi?
Yeah, recall him and put him down there and see if he's what he's got going on.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But good luck to Broony. I'll keep an eye on him because one day I would love for him to go and do well and not become one of those career journeyman coaches and do well there, build things up, and who knows, we might meet him in a cup final one day. I'm not saying he's going to come take over for Rogers, but there you go, Maestro 95. Mikey Rogers could do a job there. Mikey Johnson, he could do the job. Send him down there.
I mean, rumours West Brom might be making a move for Mikey Johnson. I don't know how much truth's in that one or not.
Permanent, please.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, we'll see how it all plays out. But I think the last thing we're going to crack on about here is game on, was it Saturday over there, Sunday our time? We're playing Ross County at home. So I want to get your thoughts, Willie, on how you think the game's going to play out. And we're going to do our usual thing. So how will the game play out? We'll predict our starting lineups after we've had a little bit of a chat. So how will it play out? Will we see any B team players in the match day squad? So will we see guys like Kelly or Frame or Vada or anyone like that there? And will Kuhn debut? So those are the questions I want to ask you. So what do you think? Will Kuhn debut?
I think Kuhn will come off the bench, but I don't think we'll see many B team players. Ross County are in absolutely honking form right now. Their manager's on a death spiral with some of the comments he's coming out in post-match interviews and stuff like that. It's absolutely shocking. Some of the things he's saying is actually thinking to himself, do you want to be sacked? Have you signed a contract and you've not got the balls to turn around and say, I don't want to be here, you're just trying to get yourself sacked or what? But I can almost guarantee that they will come out and play a 6-4-0 formation and it will be an ultra low block they'll be playing like. So.
Yep, I reckon the same, yeah. I think we might see some B team players, to be honest with you. I think it's a good opportunity if they're that rubbish and we can get out there and get up three goals early on, then we could, run some guys out for the last half hour. You could see we've only got 2 strikers available at the moment in Kyogo and Vada backing him up. So we could have Kyogo plays for an hour, Vada on for the last half hour if we're up 3-0 or 4, scored 4 goals or something at that point. So it could be an opportunity to see more game time for Rocco. Wouldn't mind seeing Cully play a bit more. Wouldn't mind seeing Frame in the mix. So, I wouldn't mind seeing those guys at least in the match day squad. Vada will definitely be on the bench for me because of the lack of strikers. Kuhn, he'll debut off the bench. I agree with you on that. So, Willie, you want to predict your starting lineup?
My starting lineup is pretty straightforward. It will be Hart in goals, Johnson, Nawrocki, Scales, and Taylor in defence, Kalmack, O'Reilly, Bernardo, and the front three of Abada, Palma, and Kyogo.
I think you pretty much picked my team there completely.
Yeah.
Just going through it, yeah, Hart. Yep, you picked exactly the same team I would have gone with. And what will your score prediction be, Willie?
I think we'll win 4 or 5-0. I think it's going to be a very comfortable day.
Yeah, everyone in the comments, let us know what your score things are. Michael Ross is saying we should be pushing at least one of our youth players in the first team action every season. Yep, 100% agree on that. Just trying to look something up. So Ross County currently are in 11th. They're in 11th, right? 2 points.
Yeah, they are 11th.
Yeah, they're 2 points behind Motherwell and St Johnson in 9th and 10th, who are on 20 points, but Ross County's got 2 games in hand. So I don't know if you can factor any of those points in there, but realistically, they're in 11th. They've scored, this is the fun stuff, 17 goals for the season, 29 against. So, yeah, they've had 1 win, 3 losses, and a draw. Negative 12 goal difference. Yeah, I'm just looking at them going, I'm calling it. I've been saying on this pod for best part of 2 years that we're going to have a double-figure goal game. I'm calling it. It's happening. 10-1. We're going to get 10 goals. And my series focus score, though, will be 4-0. But just to be silly, I'm calling it 10-1.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a double-figure game like that. Right? That would be quite good.
Jared's saying 3-0 and that 2 goals will be taken off by VAR. Fair chance. Yeah, so it's I think we've pretty much covered off all we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna we'll wrap the pod up there. So thanks everyone for tuning in yet again. Appreciate it. All our social medias are on the screen here at Celtic Down on Twitter and Instagram and Threads, whatever it is, and then YouTube, Facebook, Celtic Down Under. On Facebook, we've got a Facebook page. We've got a group. Join that. There's articles in there, and people can do opinions and whatever in there, and have a bit of a discussion and a bit of a, like community we're building up there. And then you've got the got our website, CelticDownUnder.com. You go on there, you can get one of these sexy hoodies like Jared's saying here, like the one I'm wearing at the moment. You can get hoodies, you can get t-shirts, drink bottles are on there. And yeah, we'll go to our final thoughts to end the pod like we always do, Willie. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, final thought for this week is cookers are going to cook.
Cool. My final thought is pretty simple. In Australia, it's a national public holiday tomorrow. So no matter what you're doing and what you're up to, enjoy your day off and have a great long weekend, everyone down here. And hopefully, Celtic can pick up a nice big win on the weekend. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.